We will look into the details about the currencies and the product management. So this is the session number 6, and you can say the functional series of the part 5. And this is the second last session that we are covering today. And by, you can say, next session, we will finish off the complete life cycle of the sales management on the functional part. Before proceeding to the further, there is some points about the housekeeping stuff, and related to any, you can say, the questions or the queries. If you are having it any point, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box, or specifically you can use QA sections there. And again, we really appreciate for your time and the cooperation. How you can use the QA section? You will find one small icon on the top, and from there you can post or write your question, and definitely will answer your queries. In today's agenda, we are going to cover the currencies part, where we are going to look the different mechanism, how the currencies are going to be managed with the exchange rate. Then we will look into the unit groups, about the definition also, means what does it mean about the unit groups, products definition, how we are going to set up and categorize the products over there. Then more importantly is the price list, how you are going to set up the selling price, or you are going to configure based on your business need, what are the mechanisms that you are going to apply. Then there is also discount list. We are going to look into it, how you are going to define some of the discount list, what is the configuration, and how they are going to apply in the real scenario. All of our content is already shared. Whatever we have covered in last, you can say, 5 sessions. Yes, 5 sessions we have covered. So all of the videos are posted, and also the presentations, they are also available on OneDrive. You can also bookmark these two links, which is one is the OneDrive, second is YouTube, for your future references there. So I think, Wahaj, if you can start the conversation from the currencies, then we will look into the details.
Okay.
So if you
I
can
will
share
share
your
the
screen.
screen. Okay. So today we'll start with the product catalog, which means your product catalog means where you define all of the products or services that you offer as a business. It could be any physical products or tangible products that you sell, like televisions, bottles, or any commodity. Or it could be a service also, like that you provide, for example, cleaning services, repair services, so on. But before we get into the proper catalog, first we'll see the currencies, because this is how you start the setup of the dynamics. When so first thing is the currencies, because the product catalog, the full thing means you define all the list of products, then their prices, the discounts on top of that, and their units. And then to define the prices, definitely first you need to set the currency. This is the multi-currency system, so that's why they are, you could have multiple currencies. So we'll see first thing the base currency, what is a base currency, and then what is a transaction currency, and how we define exchange rates. So the base currency is the currency that is the default or out of the box currency that you set up when you are provisioning an instance. So if you are working on online version, first time you set up a tenant, you need to select a base currency which is required. Once you set up a base currency, that cannot be changed after that. You cannot change the base currency once it is provisioned. You can do it for another environment or tenant. Similarly, in the on-premise, when you are installing the Dynamics 365 server, you have to select a base currency. Then the transaction, you can, after the base currency, you can define multiple currencies which are known as transaction currencies. So imagine a business scenario where you sell your products in a multi-region environment, right? So it is possible that you are out of US or you are out of the UAE, so your base currency is AED, Emirati Dirham, and then you also sell your products out in the US or Gulf, anywhere in the Egypt, so you can also define those currencies. So, but as the head office or our base currency is AED in this particular example. Okay. Then, of course, when you are working in multi currency environment, you need to set up the exchange rate also. So your base currency will be converted as per the exchange rate. So, for example, if I sell a product for 100 dirhams, that is my unit price for a product. If I want to sell it in the USD, the exchange rate I have to define. So it is converted based on that. So yeah, let's do one thing. We'll simply jump into the system to see. So this is the demo time. I'll just go into the dynamics. And to set up the currencies, this is a setup. So we need to go into the app settings. So most of the app settings you can see inside this particular area where you can see the product catalog and all. But for now, you won't find the currencies in this particular area because this is still these are meant for some quick settings. The actual settings you will find here if you click on the gear icon here on the top right and click on the advanced settings. This will open advanced settings for you. We also call it as a legacy interface. So some of the customizations and settings are still only available in the legacy app, but I guess Microsoft is already working on and they might include everything in uh, in the newer interface, which is unified client interface. So they might create another app for the settings or admins itself. Okay. Yeah, this can also be, by the way, accessed through the Power Apps admin portal, but the same interface will be there. So what we'll do, you could say settings has multiple options here, but I don't think so. We covered this before, but for this session's scope, we'll just cover the business management part, which is this one. And here you see among other fiscal year and other settings, you would find the currencies here. You see. So once I click on the currencies, so this one is my default currency. How I know if I open it, you see I cannot change anything here. This is the default currency, the one that was created when I was provisioning this particular instance. Yes, I can change the currency name if I want to. I can change the currency symbol. For example, if you want to give a Arabic symbol, you can do it, or any other symbol. If that is applicable, you can do it. For base currency, I cannot define any currency conversion. And then the Precision, for example, if you do not have you're working in an environment or in a country where there is no precision because you don't have denominations for in the precision like 0.50 or 0.25 or 0.75, so you can set it to zero. Otherwise, this is a common practice to go with two decimals. Okay. Similarly, I can define more currencies like this USD. This is another currency. I have set it the name, the currency symbol is there. Again, the precision is 2. And what is the rate in from AED to USD, from my base currency to the new currency. If I define a new currency, I'll just go here. I will select the currency from the, okay, Microsoft given a set of currencies which are known to all the world as per standard. But in case you want something extra, like your currency code is not registered here, I don't know why, but if there's a case, the provision is there, you can define it. Okay, so I'll go here. I'll select predefined. Okay, so I want actually, let's say euro. So let's search for euro quickly. Okay, sorry, it's based on the region. So I will do one thing. I'll go to, let's do one thing. We'll take United Kingdom as an example. So pound sterling. I'll say okay. And I guess today the pound sterling is just quickly 180 in. Sorry guys, I'm just checking the rate. 1 GBP should be okay. 0.20. So I can define that. I hope it's correct. 0.20. This is, I've defined this is the currency symbol. I'm not going to change it. That looks fine. And I'll just close it. Okay. So this is how you define the currencies. Now, how to use these currencies? This is something we'll see in a minute. Before that, let me actually get into the demo. Okay, fine. So let's say, let me go to the sales and let me create an opportunity. Okay, I will say sales in AED. I'll create two examples for you. So this one is my sales, which I will do in the base currency. You see the base currency is by default selected here. And I can click on, I can select a customer. I can click save. Okay. Now if I add a product, you see, I will take any product. For your example, let's say 100, update. Okay, so if this flag is user provided, just a tip, it will not automatically calculate any revenues here. But for this example, I set a system calculated. I will save it, and it will automatically, take the amounts from here and update it. So this is how we do it in the base currency. I will show you the difference now. Now I will create another example where I say, okay, sales in, let's say USD. So what I will do, I will change the currency US, and it will bring this currency. Now when I select a customer, save it, and I go to product, I will set to use system calculated and add a product here. Okay, yes, we have this one defined. I'd say 100, add, save to opportunity. Okay, now let me show you these two opportunities side by side. So I'll hit, because there are two ways now. Just to, I mean, for this example, I'll show you how I can also, I wanted to see what is the, okay. For each currency field in Dynamics, there are two fields created behind the scene. One is known as the base, the other is known as the normal one. So whenever you select a different currency on your transaction, it keeps the base amount also, and then apply the exchange rate, and also calculates the transaction currency amount or foreign currency amount here also. Now just to put this in the perspective, what I will do is I'll just quickly go here. I wanted to show you for a purpose, so you also know how to use advanced find. So I am just saying where my name, sorry, topic begins with sales. So it will only list me these two, because I just did a quick search on this. And now I want to show the revenue, estimated revenue base also, and exchange rate also. So I can now take this here. So this is base, this is the actual revenue, and then the exchange rate. Now see the results, you will see. Yeah, I hope it's clear. So the one I created with the base currency, you see the base amount is 103 and the exchange rate is 1, because it was a base currency and the same amount is shown here. But for when I selected the USD, you can see the amount is 5556 in the base currency. Then this is the exchange rate which was applied, and this is the estimated revenue now in the dollars. So this is very useful when you are calculating the revenue in the base currencies. So you can also see and do all of your accounting stuff. So this is one of the differences when you define multiple currencies. Okay. Now Adnan will show you in few minutes. One will go to the product pricing and price list. You will see how you can define different prices based on the currency also. So that option will also show. So having different currency will allow you to sell or provide services in multiple currencies. Plus you can have different kind of prices and discounts based on the currency, which makes more sense because every business has mostly different prices in different regions. So that's why you define multiple currencies. And now one thing I wanted to highlight is I can go on and I can, for example, change the exchange rate if I want to at any time. Sorry, for example, for the USD, instead of 0.27, let's say I say 0.28. There was a fluctuation, the rate got changed. Now when I come back and refresh this, you will see it doesn't change, which is because by default, the functionality is to take the exchange rate and store it as part of the transaction, because you do not want to recalculate. Because let's say today I created the opportunity and I provided a code to customer based on today's exchange rate. So I do not want to update it. Once I create a new opportunity here, for example, I say Sales in AAD2. I select a customer here. I say save. I go back and now you see the exchange rate. Sorry, not in the AED. Sorry, my bad. I need to create in the USD. Okay, sales in the USD. I will select an account. I can skip this, but anyways, fine. Okay. Now you see the exchange rate is not provided yet because I've not selected the system calculated and not selected any product. Let me do that quickly. System calculated, I'll add the product Nestle, and let's say we're gonna sell 100. I want to keep same thing. Okay. Okay, now you guys see the exchange rate is provided as point. Guys, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing a mistake. Sorry, guys. Can I change it? No. Okay, one more point. It's a good thing we did it. We cannot change the currency once we've created it. So you have to create a new transaction. So I'll go here. Sales in USD3, and this time I won't forget and select the USD. Sorry, guys. For the hiccup. Yeah, sorry, US. Now if I go, yeah, you see now a different exchange rate will be provided. You see, so that's how it works. So whenever you can change the exchange rate, but the existing transactions will change, take the same exchange rate. Okay. So I hope I think this is pretty much we want to cover for the currencies. Let's move to the next one. If you have any questions, you can type in and in the questions area. Okay.
Mr. Wahid, there is one question I think so. Same
Yeah.
question will be asked from everybody. There's can we make the currency exchange rate as a dynamic, or we have to
No, there is no out of the box functionality to take it dynamic.
to call in web
But you can
services?
write a Power of Flow. Yeah, you can using Power Apps, Flow or Power Automate Flow. You can call any API if you have access to, and update the currencies in system exchange. You can run this daily and so on. That can be done. But out of the box, there is no integration.
No indication. All right.
Okay, that was a very good question. Actually, I was thinking about it. Forgot to tell you. Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay, next thing, the product catalog itself. So product catalog is consists of these basic four components, you could say. First thing, you define the unit and unit groups. Okay, so and then the products and the price list and then discount list. So unit group is a product that is a unit. How this is how you package your products or services. For example, you sell the products in pieces or pats or packets, and you sell a product in kilogram, grams. And then you sell by dozen or boxes and pallets. And for services, you can charge in minutes and or maybe working days. So this is how you actually package your or services or products. So that's how we define the unit group. We'll see this example. Then the products is your actual commodity or service that you define in the inventory or as part of your services list. So you sell phones, you can define in the products. You sell water bottles, you can define in the service again. Sorry, in the as a product. You provide a cleaning service for your water tank. You can define it as a product, as a service. So and you will also define a primary unit for it, how you want to sell it. Then the price list will show you, you will actually select the actual prices on which you will sell this particular product. This can be multiple, this can be based on a region, on some other criteria, for example your loyal customers, for your wholesale customers, for your retail customers. Then the discount list you can define to provide discounts and promotions on top of your base prices. Okay, and this is something you can define based on the quantity you are selling the discounts, or depending on straight away percentage discount also we can do. So this is the part prices and discount we cover in a later part today. So first let's go through the units groups products. So this is how this will actually cover how we can define your actual inventory in the system in Dynamics 365 for sales. Okay. So first, to understand the unit group, this is very nice example. You could see that we have bottles of water. Let's assume we sell the water bottles. We are Nestle, or we are retailers of Nestle or wholesalers of Nestle. And you could see our base unit is each, which means one bottle. Then we have a pack of 6. Then we have a pack of 12. Then we have a case which contains 24 bottles. And then we have a pallet, which is actually 12 cases. So you can see this makes an hierarchy, right? Six pack consists of 6 bottles or 6 each units. 12 pack consists of 12 bottles or 12 each bonnets. So for pack, each is the parent unit group. Similarly, the case consists of 24 bottles and so on. And this one pallet is consists of 24 cases. So this means the case is parent to this one. So again, the unit groups are something that's how you package your products or services. In some example I've discussed for services, you could define it as a time, man day, man hour. So if you are working on project management uh, projects actually. Okay, so I'll show you this demo of the unit groups. Let's go back to the system straight away. Okay, okay. So I'll go here in the navigation. I will select app settings, and in the app settings, you will see product catalogs. Okay, before I get to anything, there's few quick settings I want to show you. So this is product catalog settings. This is the preview feature. When you see when you add the product in the opportunity, this is the enhanced dialog where you can select the quantity and prices. Previously it was a very simple lookup. So if you want to enable disable this, just to enable or disable this feature. Then in some general settings, when you create a product, if this one is selected, yes, I'll show you in a minute. So any product you create, it will be active. I'll show you what does it mean by active. And this is defines how you want to select your default price list and what will be the system price, if the system pricing is calculation is enabled or not. And if you want to make price list optional, because in some businesses you must select a price list to define a price, or in some you can have some simple pricing. So this depends, this is just a configuration. Then how many products you can add in a bundle. We'll discuss why and what is a bundle, and max number of properties for a bundle. I'll show you the properties also. So some settings, we do not have to cover these in today's session, but just to tell you that yes, there are settings. And this one is important, the discount calculation method. You want to give discount for a line item, which means the whole line instead or per unit. This again Adnan will cover in the discount lists. So okay, so in the product catalog, this was our first tab, and then the next is families and products. This is where you define all your products. We'll come here in a minute. And then discount and price list, but for now I'll go to the unit groups. Okay, so you see we have already created some of the units here. These are the units created for. By default there is a unit group called water bottles. So if you are selling multiple type of products, you can define different units also. For example, this is for water bottles. If you're selling coffee, you can sell by sachets and packs. So this is all configurable. For now, we'll just look into water bottles as an example. Okay. By default, there has to be a unit which is known as default unit, but you can rename it. Okay, I'll go to water bottles, and you see in the related, it will have child unit. So every unit group have multiple units. So when you sell the product or a service, you have to select the unit here. Units here. Okay, so you can see we have defined a pallet, we have defined a case, 6 pack and pieces. If I go into this one, this is my base unit, which defines only one quantity, which is your one single bottle. But if I go back, you see we have defined a pack of 6, which defined I will sell water bottles in 6 pack, which means 6 quantities of what, this unit, which is one piece, one bottle. So you see this creates a hierarchy like this. This one refers to a parent base unit or base unit, which is piece. Now this piece we're gonna use in the 12 pack also. So 12 pieces, and then In the case you will see we have 24 pieces, and now more interestingly in the palette you will see 12 cases. If I go to related here, no, okay, sorry, not here. Okay, so this is how you define a hierarchy of the units. Let's say if we want to define a new one, we can say okay, this is 12 pack, but I also sell a whole truck which consists of, let's say, 100 cases. I can do that. For example, I can say new unit, and I will say okay, a truck maybe, and the quantity is 100. What 100 is, are these bottles? If 100 bottles, I will select simply pieces, or pallets, or 6 pack, or this one. So I will say 100 pallets. 100 pallets is something that I can fill in a truck. This is just an example. So I can create a new unit like this. That's all. Now these units will be used when we are selling the products and defining the prices, because we can define prices differently for each of these units. Because piece maybe we're selling for $1, but 6 packs, because it consists six, but maybe we are not selling it for the $6. We might be selling it for $4 because it's a pack and we have a policy or discount based on that. Similarly, a pallet could be more cheap because it's a wholesale thing. Similarly, the truck. So based on this unit and unit groups, we'll define the prices, and this is how we're gonna sell these also in the uh, opportunity or quote. Okay, so this covers our unit groups. You will see this this in action in a minute, or when Adnan shows you how to define the prices, you will get more idea on these things. So let me go back to the presentation quickly. Okay, now once we have defined all of our units and product unit groups, we'll define the products. Okay, there what we in the Dynamics 365 we call it product family. So what is a product family? Product family is actually this is how you create a hierarchy of your products. In this example you can see we sell televisions, which is our parent product family, and televisions have different types, which is smart types, smart TVs, 4Ks, LEDs, so on. And then you will have actual sellable products, which are smart TV 1, 2, or maybe different models that we sell. So you see, we can create multiple families. If I take you example of mobile phones, we can have a mobile phone parent product family, and as a child, we can create sub product families or child product families like smartphones. The not so smartphones. I think today we only sell smartphones, but there are multiple types. So based on that, or maybe phablets, uh, normal phones, and then some other kind of phone. So yeah, and at the end you define the actual product that you sell. Similarly, in the laptops, we can create computers. Under that, we can have a family of laptops. On the second level, we can have a desktops. We can have all-in-ones, and in all-in-ones, we sell actual kind of like Macs. iMacs. In the laptops, we sell MacBooks. In the uh, systems, we sell Mac Pro and so on. So normally the sellable products normally are on the last level here, which are your actual products. If you take an example from the apparel, you can have men's and women's, and then based on that you can have the t-shirts, the formal shirts, or shirts and trousers. Based on that you can create multiple families and hierarchies, and at the end you will be selling only one single unit, which is known as a SKU, sellable as unit, stock keeping unit. So that's mostly on the last level. Let me go to the next slide to give you another example. So for example, you can see the boxes here in the red defines product family. Okay. Now let's get into the definition. The product family is something that defines one type of or one group of products that has similar features. Like here in the red, we see sport utility vehicles. SUV is one kind of uh, product family. There could be another sedan. There could be another family known as hatchback, or EVs, electric cars, and so on. And here you see in the blue, we can see the actual product, which is 2019 SUV. And here we can see, okay, we can have multiple levels of families and products. You see this sport SUV family has a child family, which is accessories, and based on that we have created multiple products itself. So just to summarize in a quick way, so the product families are a way to group products with similar features, like t-shirts, like SUVs, like formal trousers, and so on. And then the products or individual products are actual sellable things. So if I say in some other systems, we also call it master and variant products also. So master, I can define one product, which is in this case is a product family, let's say t-shirts. So t-shirt will have a typical size, it will have a color attribute, it will have a fabric attribute, and then there will be a different actual product or variant created out of C. You see, the same product or same t-shirt will be available in different colors. So you will define different variants of it, of that family. So that's what we call individual products here. So these are the two levels, I could say, or multiple levels that you can create. I hope if it is not clear, please ask me clearly. That's not a problem. Secondly, in this, yeah,
Just a one
yeah,
comment here related to the family. You can also define it by the type, also the model, also the brand. So
yeah,
as
that is also
Wahaj
possible.
clearly mentioned, so you can define the model, or you can define a brand also. So let's take example in a way that you have Microsoft. Microsoft is a brand or a company. Inside Microsoft, we have a different product list. So we have Office 365, we have Dynamics 365, we have server, we have Azure, we have licensing based on the subscription. So all of these are the products, or you can say the SKUs, and the SKUs are linked with the family. Similar way, if you talk about some of the electronic items, let's say you have major brand of Samsung, you have the brand of Apple. So Apple and Samsung, they are the family. And inside the family, you have the further classification. So let's take example of Apple. They have iPhone, they have iPad. So inside the iPad and iPhone, they have the different variations. So it could be, you can say, the parent, child, child, and his grandparent. So it can be split in this that particular way also.
yeah, that's clear. And then I'll take you one example because I've been into multiple retail. So mostly, as Adnan said, this in software industry, practice is totally different. As he said, like you can define based on a particular brand also. But in retail businesses, which where we sell the commodities, normally you define it based on your attributes. For example, phones are same. I mean, in terms of attributes, every phone will there is a certain set of attributes related to it. Every smartphone, you can have a screen size, you can have a memory size, you can have a RAM size. Then does it have NFC or not? Does it have Bluetooth or not? So this is how you can define families. So what happens when you create a variant, it will automatically take all the attributes from the parent, and you do not have to redefine your all of your variants. And when you are selling it in the opportunity or order, you can select a particular attribute, and you can say, okay, I'm selling an iPhone with the 64 GB or 128 GB. You can select there. So that's how it works totally. So again, based on the business, you can do it brand wise, you can do it on product grouping wise. There could be multiple examples. Now one thing we'll cover here more is called, one in the green, called bundles. Okay, so bundles is something you can combine one or two, sorry, two or more products. Yeah. So, for example, you say you sell this 2019 SUV along with some of the accessories, and it comes as a bundle. So you can define a product called as bundle. Similarly, if you are selling iPhone with a Beats headset, that means it's a bundle. Technically, there are two separate things. One is known as bundle, and one is known as kit. So both have one, two or more products as part of the sellable item, but I guess the kit is something where there are no optional products. This is just a technical difference. Don't get in, I mean, it's not required here, but just to mention, you cannot pick and choose products out of a kit. Kit is a predefined or out of factory defined bundle that you can buy. As you see sometimes with the laptop, there are some headphones free or a mouse free which comes by default from the vendor. Or sometimes you have a choice. if you buy this laptop, you can either get a mouse free or a headphone free. So in retail terms, we call it normally bundle. So this is a different, but we in this particular system that doesn't matter because we do not have any uh, restrictions like that. Plus there are two more types to the bundles. One is cross sell and one is upsell. So okay, these are not directly bundles, but these are something you can relate with the product. So that means when you're selling a product, you can define all the upsell items. For example, when you sell this SUV, you can define like you can get extra set of fog lights with it. That's an upsell item. It's not required, but you can have it. Similarly, if you're buying this particular product, you can buy a car polish, which could be your cross sell product. So these two terms are also there, but I don't think so we'll cover in this today's session, but just to give you an idea, these things are there in the product catalog. Okay, so product catalogs covers of just to summarize, consists of families. Then you can have again families, multiple level of families, and then final variants or products that you can sell. Okay, in some businesses you may not even have to create a single family. That depends. If you're just providing, your business provides just 4 services, let's say, and all are different services, there is no need to define a family. It's not required. Okay. Okay, so we'll just jump into the system demo. I've taken too much time on this, I guess. Okay. So similarly, in the product catalog where we see unit groups, you can see families and products. You see these are multiple products created here, and you can find the structure or type of the products also. So for example, we have created one type here called product family, which is our Nestle water. I can go on here and I can see that this is just a water bottle. Okay, and there is another family created on top of that which names Nestle. So this is on top of our hierarchy. If I go now here, sorry, in the products, and I click on the Nestle, I can't see it. Okay, this one, Nestle water. It should show me the actual hierarchy. You see, I defined a product family called Nestle. I have uh, divided into multiple brands. Maybe if I sell from tomorrow Aquafina, I can define that here. Then there is another family. You could see the type, which is waters, because we can also sell coffee from Nestle, right, or juices. So then the actual products which we are selling, which is the type is products. So these are our sellable products. This is something we select in actual quote or order or opportunity, not the family. Okay. And then what is a unit of that? That's something we defined. Now let me go back to the normal view. Okay. Let me open up the family. One more thing we can do in the family is, for example, Nestle water. I can define some properties here. So properties again are something which you can select while you are selling the actual product. For example, if I okay, I cannot do this because it's already active. Okay, I'll come back to this before we go to publishing. Let me show you some other examples. So this was our family. Then if I go to Nestle 500 milliliter bottle, I select the default unit is a piece, which is one bottle, right? And this is my parent family, Nestle water. Now if I go back and I see uh, the 1 liter bottle, which is again I can sell as a piece, and my parent is my family Nestle water. Okay, now let me go back to the Nestle. Okay, where is my case? Okay, this pack. Let's see the pack. You see, I can sell it as a 6-pack. So this is how you define the actual product. I select the product family. I will copy all the features for this product family, and then I can define the. Here you can see we have not selected pieces. This means we are selling it in packs. So this is how you define the default unit here. Okay. Now, once we define the prices, you will see this in more perspective, that how you define the unit level pricing there. Okay. Now some basic settings of the products. First of all, the name of the product, then the product ID. Usually it's not like this. I mean, depends if your products comes through an inventory management system, and if you have a unique SKU or ID, you can set it here, that ID. I mean that the system, there is no restriction. If you have integrated, you can take this from your ERP or inventory system also. Okay. Then what is the type? We can say this is sales inventory. or miscellaneous charges service. These are the out of the box types which have some functionalities we'll cover in a later stage once we define prices and go on. But in short, the inventory is something, sale inventory is something which is your actual commodity or actual storable product or an SKU which you can keep in your inventory and sell it. Okay, but you can also select, one more important is the services, which is there is no physical inventory to the service, but you provide it as a service. For example, as I said, the cleaning service, there is no stock to that, so that's why we will select that as a service. Okay, so if I want to define a new product, it's very simple. Add a family or a product. I can go here, click say add family. As I said, I can do it by brand also, but let's say I want to say coffee. Okay, this is, I'm going to create another family, and I will say this is, let's say CF and 001 something, or I can take the same also. I'll take the Nestle as a brand as a parent, so I have my full hierarchy. Okay, decimal stored it. I'd say I'm not going to sell it in the you know half kgs or something, so I'm gonna select it 0 for this example. I can select a valid from and to, so this will define this product's active dates, because sometimes you have you can have a limit to your sales or services also, so you can select it here. So I'll set this as save and close. Okay, so if I see here, I've created another family, and if I want, I can select unit group here also. But again, this is my hypothetical or a virtual group of products, so I'm not going to select any unit group here for this example. So I'll go back here. Now I add an actual product under this family. So what I will do is I'll select the parent. I will say, okay, good one, this coffee. Okay, now I say this is my 250, how they weight it, gram pack. I'm just taking an example. It could be any name. Nescafe. Okay. Okay. Description is something I can provide, long or basic description of the product. And then unit group, I'll want to sell it as default unit or each in these examples. Fine. Okay, what is the default one? Primary unit. This is out of the box units. I can define a separate set of unit also, that as I was shown for the water bottles, but this makes sense here because I want to sell it only one by one, not in a pack. If I want to create, I can create a pack also here. Okay, so decimal spotted, again I said 0. I'll take it as a 0. Okay, subject is something important, but okay, product ID is required. I say Nescafe coffee 25001 something. Okay, okay, now I can select the subject here also. Okay, subject is something that will help you to sort your products in a particular, this is a separate category. This will help you to, this will be used actually in the customer services and sales literature. We'll cover it in a different uh yeah video, because this is a whole different topic. For now, let's skip it. Okay, and then default price list I can select. So this will be the default pricing for my product, but again it's not required. If you do not want to be, you always want your user to select a default price list before they add a product, you should skip this option. Okay, I'll save this product. Okay, something is missing. No, let's save. I think it's saved already. Fine. Okay. Okay, now let's look into the product properties. As I said, I can define multiple properties. What does it property mean? For example, uh, let's say I have two types of products I want to select. I said this is my property name is type. This is read only. I mean, this is something user can change or not while selling it. Is it required or not? And if it is hidden or not. Okay, I'd say nothing. I'll just say, I'll show you why I'm saying this. Okay, sorry. The most important thing is what is the type of this particular property here. Yes. Okay. I can either this is, you could, this is like defining a field. So this is the properties that make your variants. For example, size, color, maybe fabric. But in this example, I'm just going to add one type which is known as, let's say, option set, and I will say save. So I will define, as a property option here. let's say classic coffee, and the value is 1. Again, this is something only for informational purposes, or when you're selling it, it can be used. But what happens in the your finance and operational inventory management system, your stock is defined based on this. So you can define multiple properties, and you can take this data and show it to your in on your online website, and you can create all of the features out of these properties here. So that's two purposes: one, to have it as an informational purpose; second, you can select it on your actual sales and apply some logic if needed, or pricing based on that. So I will say gold. So this is when I sell it now, I can select a type of this one. We'll view it how it works. Okay, and I say let's say it's a required operative. So whenever I do use this product, I have to select it. That means it is required. Okay, I'll just go ahead and go to back. Okay, now once the product is defined, there's some additional details to it. If you want, you can use it. One is the product relationships. These are your different type of, okay, you can relate multiple products. Like I said, you can have an upsell, cross sell. If we take an example from the McDonald's, you buy a burger and a meal, but you can upsell it by adding another extra size of the your fries. Similarly, if you are uh, buying an SUV, you can add special fog lights to it, and you can define it as upsell, and you can select the products here. So this will help your salesman to understand the relationships and sell it better. Then substitute means you can, this product have another substitute. If you do not like this brand or this particular product, you can have an alternate which serves the same purpose. Accessory, as name said, this is accessory to it. Cross sell means the items which are normally sold together but are not related. For example, you buy eggs. People who buy eggs mostly buy bread also. So this is cross sell. Both products have different properties, but you can sell it together. So that's called cross sell. But if I say if you buy 12 eggs and there is a upsell available to it for the same product, so I'll define it as upsell for a bigger size. So yeah, that's how you define the relationships. Then these are some fields that you can use, or this can be if you're integrated with your inventory management system, you can copy here like vendor ID, vendor name, who is your supplier, again for informational purposes. There is no process or workflow on top of these fields. Then what is the default currency of that we saw? What is the current cost, standard cost, list price? This I'll leave it here because Adnan will cover this in detail. Okay. Okay, now that's all related to this particular product. Now the next thing is you need to, this product will not be available to sell in opportunities or quotes or order or anywhere else, because you see the status is draft. You have to publish this product. Okay, I can click on the publish. Once published, you can, because okay, now the system is smart. It says you've selected this particular parent, which is not published. So parent has to be published first. So I click here. Okay, now this is a very nice feature. There are two ways. I publish this and then I go back to the child product and then publish. So I have to do it two steps. But imagine if you have defined one family with 100 products, you don't have to go one by one. So I go to the family and I say publish hierarchy. So what it will do, it will publish this product or any draft products under this family. Okay. Okay, if I go back here now in the family and products and click on the Nestle, sorry, I want to show you the hierarchy once. Okay, you see now we have added one more family here called coffee, right? And in coffee we have one product here, right? Okay, so that's how you define the products. And now one more thing, important thing here. What if you want to change a product? Sorry guys, system is taking time. Okay. Now another concept to the product, let's say if this product is no longer available, you can simply hit on retire. So what it will do, it will not be available for sell anymore. It will be in the retired state. Okay, if you want to revise this product, let's say you have a new version and so the what will happen, this will go in as this will become inactive and you will have a newer version or with new properties maybe if you want to. So that can also be done. So you will have history of it also, so like we saw in the quote. So if I click on the retire, this will no longer be available here. See, this is in the read only now. So I can clone a product if I want to. Let's say if you're creating multiple products with similar sets and just maybe you want to change the units or just some description, you can do the cloning also. Okay. Yeah, so you can add a bundle from here. One last thing we'll see here. So the bundle, as we saw, we one created here also. This one for the winter offer. So you define the name, the ID of the bundle, and all the basic things, and then go into the bundle products. You see, you have two products added into the bundle. You can do that also. You can add as many as you want here. Okay. So this should also, yeah, this covers pretty much your product catalog. There are more options here also. We can go on and see, but I think for today's demo, because we have limited time, this should be enough in my opinion. But if you have any questions here, please ask. One thing again, these properties and all are available only for the information purposes. This is something you can select on the sales, but right now I think there is no out of the box flows available based on that, but you can do using Power Automate as far as I know. If you want, I can just quickly show you I'll just show you quickly one thing here in the opportunities. Let's open any product. Okay, so once you are selling a product, you see you can just 1 second, let me open it. Add product. Okay, this one, sorry, 1 second. Okay, you can see if we've defined any properties, we can select it here. So if you want to, let's say, select a size for this product or storage size or color, you can do it from here. So this is the part where you select it. Okay, so I think, yeah, that should be enough for this particular scenario. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll just ask Adnan to quickly continue and show you the prices and discount on top of it.
Okay, so related to the price list, as Wahaj clearly mentioned, that once you have set it up the product catalog, about the unit of measurement as well as the products and the families, how you are going to sell the product to your customer. So that the main part is already covered. Now, the second part, which is more important here, about the pricing, means how you are going to sell the product to your customer. System gives you the multiple versions here in the, you can say, multiple types of the facilities or the functionalities, how you can define your price list. So you can have the retail price list, you can have the wholesale price list, you can have the distributor. So these are all just like examples. The best part is you can have the multiple currency based price list. So let's take example that you are dealing in two main areas. One is retail and second one is the wholesale. So where the person is asking a product or he's asking for a product and services in a particular retail end, you have a different price list than the wholesale. But what about the international customers? So there might be a chance that you are going to encounter with the different currencies there. So you can have the price list based on the currencies, based on the customer segment or the market segments here. So it could be possibility that you are going to run a campaign for a specific season, and from that for that particular season that you are going to set up a pricing, special pricing for your customers. So based on these all parameters, you are going to define that, okay, this price list is going to be configured or this region for this particular sales team. So these are all configuration that you can do it here. So first part we are going to look into here, that what are the basics about the price list. So it can be vary, depends on the business situation. So in the example which is clearly mentioned that you are going to handle three types of the prices. One is the retail, wholesale, and distributor. And you can easily evaluate what is the difference is coming up here. So difference is the price. In the retail, you have the higher price, but in the distributor, you have the lowest price, because distributor, they are going to keep their margin also. They are going to put their margin also, and as well as the wholesale, because the customer, or let's say the company that you are going to deal with them, they are going to buy the products in a bulk, and they are going to resell them for their own customers. So this is how you are going to define as a price list. So how you are going to configure it here. So just need to think about it. How, what are the main segments that you are going to cover it here? First is the price list. Second is related to discount list here. So discount list, what it happens here. First of all, what you need to do, you need to define the criteria, how you are going to split the units over there. Discount is normally happen that you are going to define in a range there. So let's take example, the customer is going to buy in a bulk. So you are going to define a bulk range there. Let's say the customer is going to buy 1 to 50 quantities. So what is the price discount that you are going to give them? 51 to 100 units. How you are going to give them the prices? So these are the all discounts that you are going to put it there in a threshold based on the percentage or based on the amount that you are going to offer them. Let's take example that you are going to give them the percentage. The companies who are going to, let's say the customer who is going to buy 100 units. So you are going to give them the maximum discount for them. And even the companies who are going more than 1,000 units, what is the discount that you are going to give? In terms of percentage, in terms of the money. Now, first thing what we need to do here, first thing related to here, that we are going to define the discount price list. It's just like a definition we are going to define. Then we are going to define the unit groups as well as the units. We are going to define the price list. Inside the price list, we are going to define which discount list is going to be specified here. So this is what we are going to look into it by the time that we are going to jump into the system, that how they are going to set up it here. So just to understand that how we are going to define the discount list is just like a configuration that you are going to set it up on the system there. Now, there are some basics that we have to cover it here, because in the end, we are going to calculate the margin or a markups here. It is very important to understand what's the basic we are going to cover it here. Either you are going to define the products in a flat rate, means you have the only the currency amount, or you are going to define the percentage on the top of your list price, or you are going to calculate your price on a runtime based on the margin or a markup. So there is a slightly difference here. You have the 4 mechanisms. One is fixed price, flat rate, means you are going to set the target price as a flat rate, or the currency, or let's say the percentage on the list price, means that there is a list price is available. Let's say you are saying that, okay, this particular product is going to have a $10. And inside the $10 that you are going to calculate manually, or let's say automatically you identify, okay, I'm going to sell it on a 20% percentage of my list price. So it will become that, you can say, the if it is $10 and the 2% is there, so it means the $12 that you are going to charge to the customer. But what about the margin you are going to calculate, and how you are going to calculate the markups there? So it's just like you can consider it as a accounting term. We normally put it there, mean in any financial data or in a financial, you can say the transaction, that we need to identify, okay, what is the margin or what is the markup. So this is very reasonable to understand the basics there. So first of all, the margin, how it comes there. The margin is, you can consider it here as a sale amount that you sell to the customer minus the cost of the goods sold. Means, let's say you bought the product, or you bought or manufacture the product. In the end, the costs become a certain amount, and on the top of it, you sell to the customers. So let's take an example that you are going to manufacturing a pen, and pen, it costs you per unit, take example of $1, and you are going to sell to the customer at the rate of $5. So it's mean the cost of the goods sold is $1, but you sold out at 5, and the margin that you have achieved is $4. So it's very straightforward, simplified one. And normally we calculate based on the percentage. How much is the percentage that you are going to apply? So in this particular scenario, we are going to gain up to, you can say, 400%, or you can say 80% that we are going to get it there as a margin over there. On the other hand, what about the markup there? Markup is an amount by which the cost of goods sold is, you can say, increase in order to get the final selling price. So there's the calculation is difference here. You are going to target here what is your selling price. Either you are having a big amount or big selling price or a lower selling price. So you are going to define it there. But the difference comes here in terms of the output that you are going to receive it here. But before we are going to jump into the margin, or let's say the profit margin or the markup, you can say calculation, we need to understand there are some basics there. One is the revenue part. Second is the cost of goods sold, and the gross profit here. Revenue is very straightforward. Whatever the products and services that you are going to sell, it's the revenue. Whatever you have earned. What about the cost of goods sold? Means the products and services that you have acquired, or you have, you can say, it occurs during the manufacturing of the product and the services that you are going to provide after deducting everything, or let's say the expense that you have made it there for that particular services or products by manufacturing or acquiring from the market. So that's the cost of goods sold here. The gross profit is whatever the revenue is left over after selling, and you are going to deduct it after, you can say, selling the product, and you are going to deduct it by the minusing the amount of the cost of goods sold. So here we are going to identify what's there. So first thing is, let's take example of the margin, that how you are going to calculate here. So it normally refers that how much you are going to make a money after paying the cost of goods sold here. Means you sold a particular equipment or a item or a services at the cost of $100, but it costs you only $70 per product, which whatever you have sold out. Then you can either you have manufactured or acquired from the market. In the end, the margin became 30. Means 100 minus 70. 100 is my selling price, 70 is my cost of goods sold, and 30 becomes my, you can say, the margin that I received from that particular transaction. So it's mean the profit margin for that particular deal is 30%. So very straightforward. Means where you are going to divide the selling amount by the cost of goods sold, you are getting the amount that whatever you are receiving. On the other hand, if we are going to see the markup there, so markup is different here, where you are going to define that how much a company selling price is then the amount of the item cost to the company. So that's the difference comes here. So there's a different terminology, or you can say the accounting heads we normally talk about it. So what is my margin and what is my markup over there? So markup calculation is very straightforward. It's straightforward, not as compared to, you can say, our previous one, which is which was the margin. It is very straightforward in a way that we are going to identify that, okay, how much we sold out, what was the cost of goods sold, and we are going to divide by the cost of goods sold. So it will show the number of, in a way that you are going to define, okay, what is the percentage that you are going to receive. So it's mean how much is the selling price over the cost of the company. So in this scenario, what we have done earlier, that the cost was 100, or sorry, the selling price was 100, the cost was 70. So we simply easily divide, you can say, first we need to divide it there, the $100 revenue minus the cost of goods sold, divide by the cost of goods sold. So it will show you, or it will give you the right answer for the markup percentage. So these are all calculation that you are going to see there on the top of Dynamics here. So they are the version that you are going to put it there as a flat rate, or you are going to put it there in the list price rate, or you are going to put there on the percentage on a different, you can say, various here. So let's have a look into the high level, how it normally set up there and how it looks like. So what I'm going to do I am going to do it here. I'm just going to show you how it normally is listed down. So I'm here on my system. So let me just enable my highlighter here. So you can see all of my price lists are listed down here. Okay, so let's take an example. What's there inside of a particular price list? How it normally configures. But in the detail session where we'll do it. In the next session that we are going to cover the more in detail. Okay, how you're going to set up the price list. What are the main areas that we are going to cover there? So just for a high level, what we are going to define. So there is only one price list is defined. Let's take example on Nestle bottle. So it's a water bottle we are going to sell to the customer here. And we are going to define it here. What is the name of that particular price list? When it is going to start and end date. So there is a, you can say, you can put the duration also here. But if you are not going to put any duration, so it means the system will keep this price list active forever. But let's say if there is any duration involved, we are just going to put it here, the start date, end date. When the price list is going to be active until when it should be remain active. The main part is the currency, means what is the currency of that price list, so that you are going to define it over here. Then you are going to come up here as a price list item. What are the price list items are configured here? So there are two price, you can say item are configured with the different unit of measurement. You can see it here. There is a 1 liter Nestle bottle. It costs you 1.12 dirhams. Winter offer that we are going to place it here. Winter offer is one of the bundle that we are putting here. And we are saying that it will cost them per unit 100. So these are the prices that you are going to define it here. So how it is going to define inside means what is the mechanism that we have applied here. If I'm just going to open the product, first of all, we need to understand there are some basics are there, that we have the pricing mechanism, means the pricing functionality, which currency that we are normally dealing by default is AED, which whatever the base currency is there, means what is the reporting currency of your organization. What is your current cost? What is the standard cost? Current cost is the last buying or last price that you have it. At what price it costs you. So the current cost is this, means the last buying or most recent price that you have it here, means at what level or what you can say price you have acquired, or what is the manufacturer price that you are going to have it here. Then you have the standard is just like what we call it as a based on the mechanism of the pricing, that how you are going to specify, either on an average that you are going to do it. So let's take example that you are going to buy a services or buy a product from the market, and you every time you are receiving a different price rate, and the prices is in the between a range there. So you can say, okay, there is a 10 to 25% is the range of the variation in the price. So you are going to put average cost of the standard cost over there. So it's just like averaging that you are going to do it, or it can be covered in the ERP, how it is going to be managed in terms of calculating the average pricing, and you are going to put it there as a standard. But on the other hand, the current is what is the most recent what you have acquired. And the list price. List price is just like whatever you have set up as a default. This is the agreed amount with my vendor or with my, you can say, manufacturing operation team. This is a list price that we are going to sell to the customer. Or this is the minimum, or you can say the break even that you are going to have it here. It's a list price that you can see it over here. Okay, so these are the all basics there. The main part is normally comes here, that whatever the pricing that you are going to set it here, either this is the one-time activity that you have to do it, or every time whenever there is any purchase happen, or there is any, you can say, new lot is coming up here in your inventory, you have to adjust these items, or you can update these information from the external source also. Let's take an example of ERP. If you are using the ERP, you can also link up here whatever the information is coming up here based on that particular product, whatever the, you can say, the last buying that you have it, you can put it there as the current cost, or let's say whatever the average that you are receiving, you can put it in the standard cost, or what is the last minimum, you can say, threshold amount that you are going to have it. So you can define it very easily, and it's integratable. Now, things comes here, how you're going to define and how you're going to use it there. So I'm just going back here, and from here, I'm just going to show you one scenario here, which is the pieces. We are going to sell the Nestle 1 liter bottle. And if I'm just going to double click on this particular row, or I just simply click and edit, click on the edit here. So how the system defining here? So system first defining here, which price is this, which product that we are going to put it here, and what is the unit of measurement here. So from here, system will give me the unit of measurement, all complete of unit of measurement here. Why? Because we have already defined the unit group. and unit group is linked with the product here. So there is a slightly difference here. There is a unit group you have seen under the product that there is a default unit group, also default unit. So default unit, it will help you, okay, what is the default is coming up here whenever the product it receives. So what is the default value it shows up there. But even though you can also change it here, whatever you need it, you can change it, whatever the unit that you need to sell it out, which currency, because again, it will link with the price list. If there is any discount list allocated or not, what is my quantity selling? Either there is how the quantity is going to be sold out. Either is a whole number or a fractional part. So let's take example that if you are going to deal in the length, so length or what we call it as mileage, it normally comes as a decimal or fractional. Or let's say if you are going to use any highly sophisticated scaling measurement, you are going to define it as a whole or a functional. So whole or functional means system will allow you to put the value in the decimal values also. But let's say if you don't want to control, system will not control anything. But you want to put it there, only the whole means system is expecting that you are going to put as a whole number. Means it should be 1, 2, 3, 100, 200, 1000, whatever the whole number. But it can't be 100.05, 1019. It shouldn't be happen in the whole number. Okay, so that's the difference comes here in the quantity selling option there. Now the options comes here. What is my currency methods here? So these are the all currency method that I'm putting in here. Means over the pricing method that I'm seeing it here. Currency amount, which I explained a little bit while ago, where you have the flat rate, you have the percentage of list, whatever the list price you have defined on the product master, you are going to sit adding the percentage over it. Percentage or the percent markup on the current cost, margin on a current cost. So these are all options that I have showed in here. So you are going to define it here, how much you are going to put it as a markup or a margin, how you are going to calculate. So that's the only mechanism that you are going to identify, okay, how you are going to define a price list here, how you are going to calculate, what is the selling mechanism that you are going to define it there. Again, it will be based on the current cost or a standard cost. And what is the value that you are going to define. So in this particular scenario, what we have done here, we are just putting in here that we are going to select as a current cost, and we are going to select a 32% we are going to charge the customer. So system is also letting me know after applying the 32%, what is the amount system has calculated. So system from where it is calculated. So if I'm just jumping here, I'm just saying here the current cost. So I'm just jumping in my particular product. So here's my product here. And you can see it here under the additional detail, we have this mechanism. So it is adding the value, it is making a calculation. What I showed you there, system is adding the value here based on the 30%, how much amount it will be here. So the list price, or you can say list current cost, it was 0.85 dirhams, or you can say 0.85 fils. And after applying the 30%, how much system has calculated? System has calculated 1.12. So let's take example that I'm just going to round it up here, that I'm just going to calculate the 30% here. So 30%, as soon as I'm just going to save the information, system will also update my pricing amount. So now you can see it here, the updated price amount is 30% is 1.10. Similar, it goes for the margin here. Then again, you have some of the more information related to the rounding information. Means let's say whatever the price is calculated, either you want to make it round or not. So these are the all mechanisms available. Either it should be done upward, downward, or to the nearest. Means whatever is the nearest. Means let's say the lowest number is nearest, so it will round to the backward or a downward. If it is the nearest to the upward, so it will go to the upward. So let's take example that if the calculation amount is happen in a way that amount became 583. So 583, what the system will do, 583.24. So it's mean system is going to revert it back. It will become the whole number, 582. So it is not going to calculate, or it is not going to calculate in a way. It's just like a mathematics that it is going to happen. Either you're going to round it off upward or a downward. Okay. So these are the all information that you are going to put it here, and you can have the price list completely in a different, you can say the sections wise also, or you can have a complete list. You can have the complete all of the information that you can also define as a views. whatever the prices or whatever the, you can say, additional detail that you are going to capture, and you can have the multi-currency level here. So the one price list is defined under US dollar, other are in the AAD. So these are the all price lists are going to be used in the opportunities and the products or opportunities or proposal that you are going to make it there in your sales transaction. Is there any question up till now? I think all good. So what we can do, we can conclude the session in this topic, and we will continue this topic into the next session also, where we will start preparing a price list, and we will show you how the price list is going to be applied on the sales transactions, either on the opportunity, quotation, sales order. These are the whole scenario that you are going to see here. Okay. So let me just jump to my presentation here. So
Okay, I want to show something just for 2 minutes. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, please.
Okay, just quickly. So people, I mean, who are asking for bundles, as an example, I'll just quickly show you. So for example, if you're selling, let's say Samsung S21, you could see this is the phone with some bundle, which says the phone plus the back or wireless charger. So this is an example of one bundle. Okay. Now one more thing I wanted to show you here. Okay. This one is Amazon, and you see on the right side, you see this is the original device, but they suggest me to buy a protection plan. This is an example of upsell. So they are upselling me along this phone. They want to sell, extended warranty, which is an upsell, right? Okay. Another quick thing, if I go down here, they say these are the two products people frequently bought. So this is an example of cross sell, different products, but are bought together. Yeah, so just quick thing. I mean, if I guess this will clear all the questions you have related to bundle, cross sells, and upsells.
So what we have to in today's take home, we had looked into the currencies, unit groups, product, price list, and we didn't cover the prices in detail and the discount list. So, but we are going to cover in the next session. So we will merge the two scenarios, because in the next session about the organization structure and the sales and the security, we have little bit cover. So there will be a, you can say, we can squeeze our agenda or the topic for the next session. There are some resources, learning resources are listed down here, so you can check it out, and you can explore more about the product catalog, what are the functionalities are there. And one more thing, we would like to let you know about the product. There are product and the pricing. There are some limitations are also available, and these are highlighted, but there are some way around also there. So we will also talk about in our upcoming session, so how you can handle situations in particular scenario whenever there is a much more fluctuation happen in a pricing in a particular scenario, that whatever the price changes in every minute or every day, that you have a different price list, and how you are going to handle this situation, and what is the mechanism you are going to use a different pricing method also, because there are some limitations is also there about the list price, because list price is going to be have it on a particular currency, and the currency has an impact on the prices. So there's a shortage, or there is some limitation is there, but we will talk about in further more detail, and we will also talk about how you can overcome such situation. Upcoming session, it will be continued on Tuesday on 28th. It will be the session 7. We will also include the price list part in detail. So you can say first 30 minutes we'll talk about the price list, and the next 30 minutes we will talk about the organization structure, how you are going to make sure about the security roles, how you're going to define the teams, access team, security profiles, and the user. So we are going to split the next session into 2 parts here. So next part, I think it will be 1.5 hours. It will be good, because if we are going to cover 30 minutes in the price list part, then we should have at least 1 hour for the organization, or we are going to split it there. Now on the Thursday, we are going to have some special discussion, specifically dil ki kuch baatein that we wanted to share with you guys, and we will also sum up some of the information about our session journey that we have covered. And we will also talk about some of the milestones that it should be kept and also the journey path you can follow. And we will also share some of the stories about ourselves, how you can do it, what are the main things you can follow. You can take the inspiration from us or from anywhere in the world. You can how you can get it and what are the main uh, key points that you have to look into it. Okay, so that's end of our today's session. Really appreciate for your time and for your commitment. Wahaj, if you have any last words to say.
No, I still want to live, so no last words. Okay, Nana guys, thank you very much for your time, everyone.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Really appreciate
Okay,
for everyone
take it.
and God bless you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.